Hi YouTube, Felicia here. Thanks for joining my channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about inductions and what to expect. So let's get started. First thing I wanted to mention, bring something comfy. So bring your favorite pillow, some fuzzy slippers, your own personal nightgown, some essential diffusers if you want. You kind of want to make yourself feel at home. Inductions take usually a really long time, especially if it's your first baby. It can take up to 2 days. So this brings me to my next point. Eat something before you come. So I like to say, eat something like it's your last meal, your favorite tacos, whatever it is, something big, because like I said, you're gonna be here for a couple of days and you wanna be a little bit full before everything started. You're not going to be able to eat anything while you're in labor in the hospital. Bring liquids you typically enjoy. So this is your water, your juices, your teas, your jellos. I usually like to recommend chicken broth to satisfy that type of meaty craving when you're hungry, things like that. So now I'm gonna go over what typically happens when you arrive to the labor and delivery unit. So you're gonna be taken to your labor room. You're gonna be given a second to change into a hospital gown or your own personal gown, whatever you wanna wear. Baby's gonna be put on the monitor and you'll be asked a bunch of routine admission questions. You'll sign consents just for the process of labor. Always included in the consents are an emergency C-section if that case does arise. An IV will be started and your induction will begin. So just keep in mind what I talk about here will vary depending on the facility you choose to have your baby, because policies and procedures are just a little bit different depending on the hospital, the institution that you choose. All right. So let's talk about the different methods of induction, starting with one you might be a little bit familiar with, Pitocin, also known as oxytocin. So this is a IV medication. It comes in a little 500 ml bag. It will be hung on the IV pump and it is titrated starting at 2 millunits a minute. It will be titrated up in 30-minute intervals to reach the desired contraction pattern. In my facility, it is contractions every 2 to 3 minutes. Once you reach contractions every 2 to 3 minutes, the medication will stay at that level, whether it be 2, 4, 6, 10 milliunits a minute, until your contractions might start spacing out. Then your nurse will come into the room, just turn up the medication a little bit, and that's that. The next method typically used is something called a click balloon. This is a mechanical dilation of the cervix, which usually dilates to about 4 centimeters. So it's like it's a long tube. The provider will insert it into the cervix. It has at the end 2 balloons. Water will be inserted in both balloons at a certain level, and the first balloon is inflated in the uterus past the cervix and the other one in the vagina. So this is your cervix, you'll have 2 balloons there, and it basically, like I said, a mechanical dilation. It's going to try and dilate. That can be left in up to 12 hours. It will either fall out on its own if you reach 4 centimeters or more, or it will be manually removed. So the other method I want to talk about is medications, pills usually, that are inserted vaginally. So the one we typically use at my hospital is called Cytotec. This is a pill inserted vaginally whose purpose is to soften the cervix to allow for easier dilation and produce contractions. So at this point, your provider will usually use a speculum or just go in free-handedly and open the vagina and just slip the pill all the way back to the cervix. Now this process is a little bit uncomfortable, as it would be with your routine vaginal exams. So a lot of providers like to recommend an epidural if you do plan on getting one. At this point, it would be a good time to get an epidural. I usually try to recommend my patients just to hold off a little bit if they can, because with the natural process of labor, walking around, moving about is what helps the labor progress a little bit better. So that, in a nutshell, is the process that typically goes with inductions. So another thing I like to educate my patients when they come in are the event of emergencies, just so that they're aware and they know what to expect when a bunch of people are in the room and just like touching all over the place. So at any point during your labor, if your baby's heart rate dips a little bit or drops to a level that's not good, your nurse will typically come in and begin resuscitative measures, which will begin with position changes. So if you find your nurse coming in a lot, asking you to change positions, she's not being annoying. She's just trying to improve baby's heart rate, which typically does improve with position changes. Sometimes laying on your left side or your right side might compress the cord a little bit, and just changing to the left side might stop those, what we like to call decelerations in the baby's heart rate. If position changes don't typically work, your provider or someone from the team will come in, check your cervix to see how dilated you are. Sometimes decelerations can happen when you're fully dilated and it's time to push. If you're still only 5 or so centimeters, other measures will be taken. Sometimes you'll be given a bolus of fluids through the IV. Different types of things will occur. If nothing works, then just be prepared for an emergency C-section. Labor is hard, inductions are hard. Just be prepared. I kind of just want to prepare my pregnant ladies, your partners, whoever's going to be involved in the labor process, just for anything that can happen. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching my video again. I hope that I was helpful in some way. If you like my video, please like and subscribe if you want to see more content. Thanks again for watching, and bye guys.